Hello friends, this Big Daddy Cash back again. You just can't get rid of this old reprobate, can you? Anyway, I received a letter from a friend, and she told me a little story about this cat that lives in her neighborhood. The cat's name is Ugly, and it's a sad story, and I'll do my best to read this letter to you. I'll have to take my glasses off so I can see the print here. Okay, it starts out, Dear Cash, there's a cat in my neighborhood by the name of Ugly that just died. And I wrote this story and I thought I'd send it to you and see what you thought. Everyone in the apartment complex I live in knew who Ugly was. Ugly was the resident tomcat. Ugly loved three things in this world: fighting, eating garbage, and, shall we say, love. The combination of these three things combined with life spent outside had their effect on Ugly. To start with, he had only one eye, and where there should have been another was a gaping hole. He was also missing an ear on the same side, and his left foot appeared to have been badly broken at one time, and had healed in an unnatural shape, making him look like he was always turning the corner. His tail had long since been lost, leaving only a small stub, which he would constantly jerk and twitch. Ugly would have been a dark gray tabby, except for the sores covering his head and neck, and even his shoulders with thick yellowish scars. You know, everybody, whenever anybody saw Ugly, their first reaction was, "That's one ugly cat." All the children were warned not to touch him. The adults threw rocks at him, hosed him down, squirted him when he tried to come into their homes, or shut his paws in the door when he wouldn't leave. But Ugly always had the same reaction. If you turned the hose on him, he would just stand there getting soaked until you gave up and quit. If you threw things at him, he would curl his lanky body around feet in forgiveness. Whenever he spied children, he would come running, meowing frantically and bumping his head up against their hands and knees, begging for their love. If you ever picked him up, he would immediately begin suckling on your shirt, earrings, or whatever he could find. One day Ugly shared his love with the neighborhood's huskies. They didn't respond kindly, and Ugly was badly mauled. From my apartment window I could hear his screams, and I tried to rush to his aid. By the time I got there, he was dying. Ugly lay in a wet circle, his back legs, lower back, twisted grossly out of shape, a gaping tear in the white stripe of fur that run down his front. As I picked him up and tried to carry him home, I could hear his wheezing and gasping, and could feel him struggling. I must have been hurting him terribly, I thought. Then I felt a hugging, suckling sensation on my ear. Ugly, in so much pain, suffering, and obviously dying, was trying to suckle my ear. I pulled him closer to me, and he bumped the palm of my hand with his head. Then he turned his one golden eye towards me, and I could hear the distinct sound of purring. Even in the greatest pain, that ugly, battle-scarred cat was asking only for a little affection, perhaps some compassion. At that moment I thought Ugly was the most beautiful, loving creature I'd ever seen. Never once did he try to bite or scratch me, or even try to get away from me or struggle in any way. Ugly just looked up at me completely trusting, knowing I'd relieve his pain. There's a tear in my eye there. Anyway, Ugly died in my arms before I could get inside. But I sat and held him for a long time afterwards, thinking about how a scarred, deformed stray cat could so alter my opinions about what it means to have a true pureness of spirit, to love so totally and truly. Ugly taught me more about giving and compassion than 1,000 books, lectures, talk shows ever could have, and for that I'll always be thankful. He had been scarred on the outside, but I was scarred on the inside, and it was time for me to move on and learn to love truly and deeply, to give my total to those I care for. Many people want to be richer, more successful, well-liked, and beautiful. But for me, I'll always try to be ugly. Your friend Jane. I think that's sad. Anyway, this is a testing video again. I'm trying to put music in the background on them. I know it's poorly made, and I'm not much of a reciter, but I'll learn. I'm a persistent old devil. Anyway, have a good day. This is Big Daddy Cass saying adios. Bye now.